Y'all like one?
Neglecting justice first. That is from the book of Amos. Book of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 15 to 17. With spread out hands, I will hide my eyes from you.
Can't wait for you guys to go away.
I'm sure you can. I can't wait for you to start acting like children being murdered. And where was the love in your response there, sir?
More back again, huh?
Where was the love in your response? You can't wait for us to go away. How's that loving your brother? How is that loving? I can't wait for you guys to go away. How is that loving? How is that loving? I can't wait for you guys to go away. How is that loving to me?
So you want to pick out one thing that somebody said?
Yeah, I mean, you all. I mean, I see the way you're. Not all that you're treating us, but
Well, how do you think you're treating us? I mean, if it goes both ways, like you kind of expect us to, kind of just. I don't know what you expect of us.
I mean, I don't think I've said anything unkind today. I've spoken truth. I'm acting like there's an emergency going on.
Well, you've got Matt over there yelling at people.
He's doing that so people can hear him. He's not cursing and he's not acting unkind in what he's saying. Believe me, I'm pretty discerning with that.
But it's very abrasive. And so, I mean, if you want to talk about somebody, we've already had so many conversations, you and I.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not saying it's anything but with what you said. I mean, I was just asking him, how is that a kind thing to say to me?
Well, maybe
I can't wait for you guys to go away.
Well, maybe it wasn't, but it's very disruptive what you guys are doing. So it's very hard.
Well, maybe we need to be disrupted. I mean, our neighbors are being murdered and most people don't care. They're not doing anything about it.
Well, to say that we don't care is also very wrong. We do care.
So what are we doing about it?
Well, we've got people who do counseling at counseling centers for this. We've got people who adopt children. I've written this. I've talked with Matt about this.
Okay.
We practice adoption of kids who otherwise would have been aborted.
Mm-hmm.
We do counseling. We give our time. We give money. We do lots of things.
I mean,
So for you guys just to come and blatantly accuse us of doing nothing is false. It's false.
well, I mean, what I meant was, are you working to abolish abortion?
Yes. Maybe not in the same way that you are.
That's the problem. Most people,
But
they say the way we're doing it is wrong. There's always a better way.
But you guys are saying that this is the only way. And
No,
so I would say that
no, I'm
that
not
is
saying
also,
that. I'm not saying that.
Well, so
What I'm saying is we need to have an urgency. I go to the abortion mills and there's almost no one out there.
Well, so why do you think that this is the only way? You're narrowing.
What we're doing today, or
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't say it's the only way.
Well, it comes across as that way. That this is the only. I mean, you're scaring kids, man. Come on.
well, we're more concerned about kids seeing it than we are adults that need to see it.
Maybe it wasn't so bloody, Could we do one that wasn't so bloody? Because I don't know through my little kids.
Well, maybe they'll have compassion unlike adults.
Oh, they will. They're too young for that.
You don't know that. You don't know
Well,
that.
you don't.
I know my kids are.
I've seen young children have compassion.
Well, what about those with disabilities?
Maybe they'll have compassion too.
What if they can't understand?
Well,
So what's the number one group of people that are aborted in this country?
black people.
Nope. Those with disabilities.
Oh no, Down syndrome children.
Those with
Well,
disabilities.
actually, it's Down syndrome children. They're murdered over 90%.
That's right. So what's our biggest ministry at this church? Our disabilities ministry.
Yeah.
And so we have those who haven't been aborted, who have been given life,
Yeah.
who are here, who can't understand this. They're physically and mentally unable to understand this. So when they see this, they can't have compassion. They just don't understand. And so that's why I've asked for you guys to not have these signs up, not be young. They can't understand it. And so to me, it is.
I don't intentionally show it to them.
I know you don't intentionally, but you have to think of the unintended consequences of this, that it's actually doing damage to them, and you're not being helpful.
You assume that.
No, I know so.
Well,
I've had conversations where I can
you're
go get
assuming
some
that.
of their parents and let you explain to them why you think it's okay.
I'll do it. I'll talk to people. That's part of why I'm here, is talking to people.
You want to be understood, but what I want to is to be understood by you, to understand that you are not being helpful to those people. And the two things aren't mutually exclusive. It's not either or, it can be both and. And you guys are just either or.
What do you mean either or?
It's either this way or nothing at all. What I'm asking
No,
for
you're assuming that. We never said that.
No, that's what you said. It doesn't matter that other people are offended by this, even those who can't understand.
I wouldn't say it doesn't matter. What I am saying is, I mean, we hear that everywhere we go. That people always say that this is the wrong place. There's a better place. It's like Well, we go everywhere and we hear the same response that, why you here, why you here, why you here. It's like there's going to be children everywhere we go. There's going to be handicapped people at least some places we go. You can't avoid that.
Well, here there's a higher concentration of that because we do care.
Well, I mean, when the bus came through, I turned my sign around.
Well, my little kid sees it. I gotta go anyway. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
But my little kid sees it, and it really, I don't want her to see it.
So how does it affect you?
So why do you guys keep coming back here?
That's show it to me. I have no problem with it.
So what are you going to do to help
I don't know.
them?
If you had all signs like that, it would be a lot easier for me. Like that. If they're all like
If
that.
I had a sign like that, I'd use
that
it.
one, she's not going to notice. This one, she's going to notice. I have to drive around so she doesn't see it.
Maybe she'll have compassion.
She has compassion.
Maybe she'll have compassion on children being murdered.
She has compassion. And this isn't going to help her to become more compassionate at all.
Maybe it can.
No, sir. You don't know.
Maybe
You
we'll
have
help.
children too?
Not yet.
Anyway.
But I would.
I'd rather she didn't see it, okay? And so that's. Don't worry, she's a fighter for your cause too. Right?
I'm still up.
Well,
Little girl.
Still upright.
John,
Man,
sorry. Thank you.
I understand that you're involved in a lot of things. The problem is Christians, we're involved in different things, but what we're not involved in is we need to go to the abortion mills. We need to hit the streets over this injustice and demand justice for the preborn. I'm not seeing that
And that's
anywhere.
fine for you guys to do that, and that's fine. We have a lot of people who commit a lot of resources, including their time to that, both personally and professionally.
What does that look like?
Well, all of the things that I just said.
Oh, okay.
And so to stay out here, for Matt to stay over there and just kind of yell at us about it is, I don't want to say it's pointless, but you're kind of preaching to the choir.
Well, I've asked people, where's the choir yesterday at the abortion mills?
Well, just
They weren't
because we're
there.
not out there every day.
I didn't say every day, because the Anchor abortion mills, they murder children Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
So 2 days a week.
Yep.
I've yet to see
Maybe
them
we're
out
doing
there.
things in other ways, like counseling, like conversation.
Conversation, it's not going to end this Holocaust. It hasn't.
Do what?
I'm not saying that the things you're doing are not good. They are, but none of it communicates an urgency. That when I go to the abortion mills, when I go to the streets, I don't see Christians out there with an urgency. I don't see we know.
Your definition.
Well, just by rescue those who are being taken away to death, we should go to the place where children are being taken away to death to rescue them. And
See, that's what I mean, though. That's by your definition, that we have to go to those places and do it that way. That doesn't mean that it's not happening in other ways.
well, but a lot of churches, they're doing other ways, and then pagans see the abortion mills that have no Christians at them, and I guess Christians don't care.
Well, see, that's a false assumption to say that they don't care because this isn't happening. They do care, and we do care. It just doesn't look the same as the way that you would want it to look.
Well, the problem is there's just no urgency. We can adopt children, we can give money to organizations, but it's not going to end this Holocaust. It's just not.
Okay.
And you go to the abortion mills, there's the place where children are actually being murdered. We know when and where.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't see many Christians out there, it says a lot about Christianity. And there are churches that do good stuff like what you're talking about, and that's needed.
Yeah.
But you even have forming relationships. Well, you do that, but you also need to interpose when you know your neighbor's being murdered tomorrow morning. Just like that, those ministries would not help if a gunman were to come out here and start shooting people. Mm-hmm. None of what you just said would stop him.
That's true.
So it's kind of the same thing. None of that's going to help the child being murdered tomorrow morning.
Right. Okay.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We need to have the same urgency to stop the gunmen as we'd have to at the abortion mills.
Well, and again, I'm not opposed to those things. I think we're trying to balance what you guys are trying to say, which a lot of is what we agree with the methods out here, given the context. Mm-hmm. Again, it comes back to the disruption, the visuals that
we haven't disrupted the services.
That are just. Well, we can make an argument about that, but.
Well, we haven't gone in there.
I understand, but the visuals are disturbing to kids and to those with disabilities, and it's hard to explain to them. Some of them will never understand it, and so that's why I'm asking for a compromise to where you would say that we don't care about, abortion and all of that. I would say that I think that it's uncaring to show these signs to children and to those with disabilities.
Well, what if it does do more good than you think?
Well, what if it doesn't? I mean, I've had the conversations week after week, because you guys have been here now, this is 3 weeks. I've had multiple conversations of people trying to process this with those people I just mentioned, and it's not helping.
That you're seeing anyway.
Right. I mean, I can give you proof, like actual proof of conversations with people that this is not helping. It's.
What if?
I mean, you can say what if.
What if children are saved through these images? I know that for a fact.
They might be in some circumstances.
They are.
But I understand, but not here. Here it's.
How do you know?
Because I can give you proof that it's doing damage to people. Not the message, the method.
And that's what people always.
So that's what. But see, that's what I would say though, is that you don't see, like, if you're going to accuse us of uncaring, I would say how is it caring for those other folks that I just mentioned? And you can say what if all you want, but I can tell you what is, because I've seen it. I'm the one that has to have those follow-up conversations with people all the time, every week.
Well,
why are my kids being subjected to this? Why do I have to have these conversations with my kids? All of those things.
Maybe those same people should care more about their neighbors being murdered than about children seeing it.
Some of those families have adopted kids into their families, and they still have to have those conversations.
Adoptions aren't going to end this Holocaust.
No,
and I'm not saying, because I'd like to adopt children myself if I get a family, but even then, it's not going to end this Holocaust.
But it's part of it. It's part of it.
I mean, it's part. You adopt children, but that's not going to.
But I still have to care for those kids. I mean, it's still my responsibility.
And I don't, like, if I see children coming, I try to hide the sign. But if there's a bunch of adults, I'm not going to hide it away from the adults that need to see it. And there are children who are 10 to 15 who they'll understand. Okay. There are children who are 7 or 8 who won't understand.
Well, and I just have to agree to disagree.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I've seen so much apathy from Christians over the years, and I get the same response over and over again. And I'm not saying, I don't want it to seem like I don't care about what you're expressing, your concerns, because I do. It seems like a lot of times Christians, whether professing or actually true Christians, they care more about their children being harmed, the possibility of it, than what actually happened to children on the signs. Yeah. Than they actually do about their neighbors being taken to be butchered.
Well, but also parents have a responsibility by God to protect their kids and to teach them and to train them. And so, yes, this is part of that, but they also have to protect them.
And I see them holding their kids' eyes. Yep. And that's fine. That's their choice.
Right.
But they're very immature if they don't want to see it themselves, the adults.
Well,
I mean
that's a stretch. But
I guess. Or they're very, or let me put it another way, they're very immature if they don't want to do anything about it. Okay. If they think that in this Holocaust, we're just going to adopt children and give money to an organization, it hasn't done it in 45 years.
Yeah, I agree. There could be more done. But again, we're not talking about mutually exclusive things. Yeah. And part of my role is to shepherd the people here, to care for them, and to have a kind of a foot on both sides of the fence. So I have to deal with the fallout of this from you guys every week. And so I don't know when you're going to stop coming, but I mean, we just keep having the same conversation every week. So
maybe it's affecting some people to where they'll take action.
Maybe. But maybe there's a lot of people that already do that you're discounting. So.
I mean, I've talked to some who are interested in taking action. A few. Okay. So if they're interested, they can come talk to us and we can help them. And I know a lot of people have passed by us and haven't talked to us, but we're just asking for help, and not to join.
There's a way to do that. There's another way to ask. That's
well,
the point. So if that's all you're doing, then
it's not all we're doing, but that's a big thing that we're doing is asking for help.
Right.
And what we hear time and time again is you're doing it the wrong way, and that may not be the case here, but a lot of the times, those who say that aren't doing anything themselves.